Sorry,
Yesterday we were
Santosh, you can start now.
yesterday we were discussing about AD admin. So we have already aware like why AD admin is used. So it is purely for administrative purpose. So whenever we start AD admin utility, it will be asking some questions. So like, is this the correct Apple top? Is this the correct database? Is this the correct log file name, like that? I'll tell you why. Like, what is this? Your previous AD admin session did not run to completion. These things I'll explain once again. It is asking to notify email using. No, I don't want. I just want the batches of 1,000. Correct database. Yes. System password. It will ask for apps password. Yeah. So yesterday we were. This is the AD admin main menu. So under AD admin main menu, we are having 5 sub menus. So like generate application files menu, maintain application files menu, compile reload application database entities menu, maintain application database entities menu, and change maintenance mode. Okay. So these first two are related to the applications, and these second and third and fourth are related to the database kind of thing, and 50s are related to, that is also related for database only. So I'm just taking to one. So here, if you see like under generate application files, there are a couple of options provided again. So this would be generate message files, form files, report files, and product related jar files. Okay. So if any message file is missing under any product tab, so with the help of generate message files, we can regenerate them. Okay. So if any form file missing under product tab, you can generate. If any report is missing, you can generate it using generate report. Generate product jar files is to regenerate any Java coding within the product tab or within the common tab. Okay, so these all things we have already discussed yesterday. Next, I'm taking you to second main menu, like the second menu under AD admin main menu, that is maintain application files menu. Maintain application files menu. So I said like whenever when we are discussing about AD reeling topic, so AD reeling is only used to regenerate uh, AD top bin executables. Okay, I mean, so the executables which are under AD top slash bin can be regenerated with the help of AD reeling. So then what about the other products? I'll take an example of GL top. Okay, I'm missing one executable under GL top bin. Open another question. So on with the help of AD relink, I can regenerate the executables under AD top. Okay, so I am in AD top bin, so I can regenerate all these executables with the help of AD relink. Then what about other products? I'll take you to GL top slash bin. So at this place also, in this location also, you are having some executables, right? So what about if I miss any executable? What if I miss any executable at this location? 42 are there, right? So with the help of AD admin, okay, with the help of AD admin, maintain application files, relink application programs. Okay, relink application programs is the option what you have to select under AD admin. So whenever you want to generate the product executables, product related executables apart from AD. Okay, so there are only two things what you have to understand. I'll explain the point once again clearly. So if at all any executable is missing under AD top bin, you can regenerate it using adreeling.sh. Okay. So if any executable is missing under any other product apart from AD top, so you have to go for AD admin. AD admin maintain application files, relink application programs. Okay. So with the help of this, you can regenerate. Do you wish to proceed with relink? Yes. This is the environmental file. Do I need to take? It is asking. Yes. It may take some couple of minutes. Let's wait. Let's wait for. Yeah. So enter list of products to link. Okay. So before that, I'll take a backup of GL. Okay. I'll take backup of some executable in GL, and I will cross check whether this particular executable has been relinked or not. Move underscore BKP. Okay. So I don't want for all products. I only want for GL product. Specific executables for each selected product. Yes. So yesterday I have taken you to know, right? Yes. So relink with debug information. Yes. Debug information means if any error is identified, it will give you the correct picture, exact picture where it got the, where it is going to, where it is getting errored out. See here at this point of time, if you give the option yes for this, like generate specific executables for each selected product. If you give yes, then it will ask you, so what is the product, what is the GL executable you want to regenerate? I will give only this one. What it is doing, it is regenerating only that particular executable. So the same in case of your forms also. Whenever you are regenerating forms, right? So it will ask you, do you want to regenerate a specific form object, specific form file? So if you select yes and if you give some particular form file, it is going to regenerate only that particular form file. Here also the same case.
Last time when we did for forms executable, okay, you selected one or two.
See, I have taken over here. Okay, so under generate application files menu, generate form files.
Okay,
Okay, this is the
okay,
total number
it's
of files.
one. Okay.
Did you got it?
Yeah, yeah, got it. Last time there's
So
one for
now come
form
here.
files, and now you
Yes,
selected two for the.
yes. Now come here and check for this particular executable. See, it got regenerated on July 25. Okay, is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So whenever, so what the thing what you have to understand over here is, so whenever if any executable is missing apart from the AD top bin, you can regenerate it using AD admin. So one beauty of AD admin is, so you can also regenerate AD executables with AD admin. Okay, so even if any product is any executable is missing under AD top bin, do you can generate it using AD admin. I mean, AD admin is having the capability to generate all products executables, but AD relink is having the capability to regenerate executables which are only residing under AD top bin. Okay, so previously, like the session, we have given abort, right? We have given abort. It is nothing but like control C kind of thing. So whenever it is asking something, whenever it is prompting some questions, or whenever if it is performing some activity, if you give abort or if you give control C, what happens? It will get exited. Okay, it will get exited. It exited from the particular session. So now again I am trying to start AD admin. I have started AD admin. So what is it asking? So your previous AD administration session did not run to completion. Do you wish to continue with your previous AD admin session? If you want to continue with the previous AD admin session, then you have to proceed with yes. If you don't want to continue with the previous session, then you can proceed with okay. So where your AD admin will store all this information, I mean, where did your AD admin will store the previous information, previous sessions information? I have already came to this point when we are going in file system. Appletop admin 2 task / restart. So these restart files are the files which will help you to uh, continue with your previous session. Okay. Now I'll give about.
So,
Okay, I'm giving
Santosh,
about.
with
Okay.
AD admin, we can relink, AD top and GL top, both, missing files,
Not
right?
only GL top and not only AL top, you can regenerate any product executable with AD admin. Okay. That is
Okay,
what I am
any
telling
product
from
is.
that time. Yes. I have just taken an example of GL top. Hello, Aslam, is it clear?
Got it, Santosh? Yeah, got it, Santosh.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So no, don't hesitate. Like you can ask me. Okay, that's fine. So here I'm showing you an example of the restart files, the significance of restart files, how your restart files are used. So if your previous AD admin session did not run to completion, okay. So for the next time when you execute AD admin, your AD admin will prompt you for this question. Your previous AD admin session did not run to completion. Do you wish to continue with your previous AD admin session? So if you want to continue with the previous session, then you can use yes. If you don't want to continue, then you can use. But where will your AD admin will store the previous session's information? It will store the information under Appletop admin SID restart. Okay, Appletop admin SID restart. Now there are couple of files over here. So I am removing rm-rs start. There are no restart files over here, right? So now I will take you to AD admin again. Now tell me, give me one answer. Is it going to ask the same question again? I need answer.
It is going to ask same question.
It is not going to ask same question because what I have said, AD admin is going to store the previous session information in the restart files. We have removed the restart files. So how come AD admin will come to know about the previous session information? It will not come to know,
Okay,
right? So in
okay,
this
so,
case, it will not ask.
okay.
Is it clear?
Yeah,
So I'm second one. So like
so,
Railings
so
application.
those files stores restart information. Whatever has been done earlier, that
Yeah.
information it will store and it will start from the point where you can, if you say yes, it will start from the point where we have stopped, or
Yes. Yes.
we have aborted, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So now copy files to destination. Okay, copy files to destination. So as I said, like what is the significance of common top in Oracle applications? It contains the common coding of all products. Okay, it contains the common coding of all the products. Okay, as a single repository. Okay, so now whenever you apply any patch, I mean, let us take an example of Java files. Okay, so under in Oracle applications there will be 200 products. Under 200 products there will be some subdirectories called as Java, which contains the Java coding. Okay, so your Apache server cannot go to all these 200 products and fetch the Java coding. So for this purpose they have came up with a concept called as common top. So your common top is a place where the common coding which is related to all the Java will be residing, right? So now I am applying a patch to Oracle application which is related to some product. Okay, so what a patch will do? So a patch will do nothing, but it will copy some new files to the Oracle application. Let us take an example of Java file. Okay. So you have applied a patch 123, 123. So that particular 123 patch is bringing some Java code to the Oracle application. Now I need an answer from you. So can you tell me where that patch will copy the coding to? Are you thinking like the patch will copy the Java code to the Apple top, or are you thinking the patch will copy the Java coding to the common top? I need an answer.
It's related to application, so it will copy to AppleTop.
Prakash?
Not sure, Santosh.
Aslam, you're correct, Aslam, because so it is related to the application level, like application level coding, right? So it's not particular thing like it is related to the application level coding. So the patch will copy the new files to the AppleTop only. Okay, it will never touch common top. Okay, but internally your AD patch. Okay, but what is common top? So, but from where your Apache server uses the coding from, your Apache server uses coding from Apache like common top, right? So even though your patch is copying the new code to the Apple top, still your Apache server is using the coding from the common top. So at this point of time, your Apache server is not using the updated code. Is it correct or not? So for that purpose, your AD patch will internally, sometimes your AD patch will internally run an option called as copy files to destination. Okay. So this option copy files to destination will copy the coding from AppleTop to the common top.
Okay. What is the frequency, Santosh, that it does, internal copying of files to destination?
Whenever it requires, it will copy. Until and unless it doesn't require it won't copy. That's it. 1 second, give me 1 second.
After doing a patching, so we don't require to run the AD admin to copy the file, but automatically it will invoke itself and it copies the required thing. Is that correct, Santosh?
Yes. If it is required if it is required, AD patch will internally call your AD admin and it will run the second option. Okay.
How
If it
does
is,
it know, that is required?
yeah, that is what that is what the coding in AD patch. That is what an AD patch does.
Uh,
Okay.
okay.
That is internal level coding in the AD patch. Okay. We are not related to that.
Okay.
Okay. So your AD patch can call anything, any object. Okay. It may call AD reeling.sh. It may call AD admin. It may call autoconfig. Whatever it is. It may call AD reeling. Whatever it is, it can call. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is why like copy files to destinations option is. Okay. Next, convert character set. Is it clear for you? Copy files to destination.
Yeah. I'm fine.
So manually also you can run copy files to destinations. If you deploy any new code manually, then you can run. Okay. Convert character set. By default, while installing Oracle applications, so but what we have selected one character set for all the files, right? For the entire application and database. So that is UTF-8 character set. Okay. So for some files, if you want to change the character set, you can change. Okay, convert character set with the help of convert character set option. But no one will be going with this option. Okay, because like I have never used this option, but convert character set is used to convert the character set of a particular file. Okay, so we will try what is there any sub option under there. Scan the AppleTop for exceptions, scan a custom directory for exceptions, convert character set, return to previous menu, scan the AppleTop for exceptions. So we will be never using that. Okay, so I will, if you want any further information on that, I will gather and I'll let you know. Next, maintain snapshot information. Okay, so 4 under like yeah. So there is under second main menu, like there is an sub menu called as maintain snapshot information. Okay, so I'll tell you one thing. I'll just give you an example. Okay, so you are going to apply so and so patch. Let us take an example of 1234. You are going to apply patch number 1234. It is containing the particular 1234 patch is containing one form file, one library file, and one SQL file. Okay, so for each and every file, your Oracle application maintains the file version. Okay, so let us assume if you are taking, I have already shown you, right, with the AD ident. Go to anywhere, any place, AD ident header file name. So this, what is the version of the file? 120.0, right? So now you are going to apply the patch which is having the version of 120.0 1. Okay, you are going to apply patch which will bring a new SQL file which contains the 120 version 120.1. So do you think like the file the AD patch is going to copy the file?
Yes, AD
Yes,
patch will
yes.
copy the
AD
file.
patch is going to copy the file because the version of the file which is going to which the patch brings is higher than the existing one. It means the next version of the file is having some bug fixes. Is it correct or not?
Right,
Yes.
right.
So that is the reason why it is going to copy the file. Next, I am asking you the same question. It is having a file. Let us take an example. 120.0.9. Now tell me, is it going to copy the file?
No.
No, the AD patch is not going to copy the file to the AppleTop because the existing file version in Oracle application is higher than the file which is going to copy. Okay. So at this point of time, what happens? Your AD patch will not copy the file to the AppleTop. So I am asking you one question. How come AD patch is coming to know about the how come AD patch is coming to know about the existing file version in Oracle application?
It's
With the help of
I guess it uses the
yes, yes, it uses AD ident.
okay.
You are thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking it
No,
uses
no,
AD identity.
that is not the correct answer. So
Okay.
with the help of snapshot, with the help of snapshot, snapshot is a thing is a kind of thing like which contains the file version, each and every file version in your Oracle application. It means if your Oracle application is containing 5 lakh files, so the information about 5 lakh files is contained will be in your snapshot. Okay. So for the first time whenever you are running AD patch, for the very first time whenever you are running AD patch, so your AD patch itself will collect the by default your AD patch itself will collect the information about snapshot and it will keep in and it will keep the information in some tables. Okay, I'm telling you once again. So your AD patch will come to know about the existing file versions in the Oracle applications with the help of this snapshot. Okay, for the first time when you are running AD patch, the AD patch will automatically collect the information about the file versions and it will store in some database tables called a snapshot. Okay, so we don't do anything related to the snapshot because if we do anything related to snapshot, if any data got corrupted, so we are going to worry. Really we are going to worry because if there is no snapshot, your AD patch will not work fine because snapshot is the one your AD patch is dependent on. So under snapshot
Yeah,
information,
Santosh,
yeah.
say for example, the files that we have, the scenario what you showed, 120.0.12 was the file version, and it will not copy, 120.0.9, right? So think that my application compatible file is 120.0.9 and I have 120.0.12. Okay, so now Oracle is recommending me to put that file instead of 120.0.12, put 120.0.9 for your application to run perfectly. So how do we do that? Like
I will tell you
do we
the
update the
scenario.
snapshot?
Yeah, I'll explain the same scenario when you go for AD patch. Okay,
Okay, okay, okay.
because
Thanks.
your AD patch contains the backup files. Uh, if you're going to apply any patch like recently, so the AD patch is going to keep the backup information also. It means if AD patch is overriding any file, it will take the backup of existing file and it will keep in one location. Okay, I'll tell you that. Okay, don't need to. It's a good question. Maintain snapshot information. Is it are did you get the information or not? Like snapshot is the one using which we will maintain our using which AD patch will maintain its own its related information. So under maintain
But
snapshot
this
information,
snapshot, Santosh, this snapshot information, uh,
okay. I couldn't hear you. I could not hear you, Prakash. I'm not able to hear you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So this is like the information related to snapshot. And next, check for missing files. What is the meaning of check for missing files?
I guess it will check for all the library and executable files if they're missing.
Yes.
Mm,
I'm taking you to GL top bin. Okay. I'm moving one file. Okay. So what does it mean? One file is missing in Oracle application, right? So how do I come to know about the missing file? With the help of AD admin, check for missing files option. Okay.
okay. Santosh, can we automate these jobs? Checking for the missing files. All these jobs. Important jobs. Can we automate this and can we get them email, or do you have already pre-existing scripts for such activities?
We don't have pre-existing scripts for these kind of things. So if you want, you can
Uh-huh.
automate. You can give you something.
Okay, we can automate it, right?
You can run these like uninteractively also.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It is showing one form file is missing under general ledger. But what about the bin? Let us run once again. See, now it is showing two files under the GL, right? One is the bin what we have
Right.
taken backup, and there is one more form file which we have taken backup previously. It didn't regenerate it. Okay. So if
Okay.
any file is missing in Oracle applications, if you suspect any file is missing in Oracle applications, you can confirm by this. Okay. Next. So under one we have completed generate message form report product files. Under two relink applications copy files to destinations convert character set maintain snapshot information check for missing files is done. Under three compile app schema. So how do you compile general invalid objects in database? With the help of utlrp script, right?
Yep.
Yes. So here also you can run utlrp script to compile invalid objects in the database. But there is one option. So basically, like app schema will be having more number of invalid objects compared to other schemas because like most of the code objects are from app schema, right? So that is the reason why if any object got changed, the app schema object will get invalid. So at this point of time, the total number of invalid for app schema will get increased. So if you want to compile app schema, so you can give compile app schema. So if you do compile app schema, what happens? In the backend, it will run script which it will, with the help of that it will compile the app schema invalid objects. Okay. The same way, compile menu information. Menus are nothing but menus, flex fields. I'll tell you when we go for front-end related sysadmin kind of activity. Okay. Next, reload jar files to database. So like your database will also contain some information related to jar files. So not only information, your database also contains some jar files which are related to Java coding and all. So if you want to reload them to the database, you can reload this. So sometimes like your AD patch will automatically internally use this option too. So in order to reload jar files into the database. Okay. So there is no particular option like see one beauty of application. See, so this is the main menu, right? Generate applications menu, maintain application files menu, compile reload database, maintain application. These options doesn't require applications to be down. Okay, so you can perform these activities even when your applications are up and running. Even when your applications are up and running, they doesn't require any downtime. Okay, so and the third option, compile app schema is done. Like that is how we will compile the app schema invalids. Okay, to make the invalids to valid. Compile menu information, compile flex fields. Like these are some front-end related activities. I will explain them when we go further. Reload jar files to database is something like it will load the Java coding kind of things to the database. Next, 4. Validate app schema. Validate app schema is nothing but it will check the integrity of the app schema. It means like uh, I mean, like validating means it is nothing but checking whether everything is fine or not. Integrity. It is checking the integrity of the app schema. Okay, you can perform at any time. Doesn't require any downtime. And the second option
Okay.
is
So
yes,
once we compile the app schema, we can execute this to validate if everything is fine or not,
yes, you can also do like this.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Validated app schema and it has generated a log file. So the log file containing some information. It is checking each and everything. It is checking for privileges, it is checking for the packages, it is checking for PL/SQL files. That is nothing but validating.
Mm.
It is checking for system packages. Okay, so that is what it does.
So, so the,
Is it
so the
clear?
link, the linked packages, the link synonyms.
Yeah, it is checking for each and everything, like whichever is
So,
related to
uh,
even like PL/SQL
okay.
files, all this.
Yeah.
Grants to apps. Like if any grants are missing on the uh, product related coding. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Next, validate app schema. Validate app schema is nothing but it is checking the integrity of the Oracle applications app schema. Okay, so are you getting the point or not? Validating app schema.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, recreate grants and synonyms for app schema. So if your app schema is has lost any grants on your product top related objects, or if any synonym is missing for app schema, okay, so you can recreate grants and synonyms for app schema. Okay, so on any of the product top. Okay, so let us take an example of AP underscore invoices. Okay, so as I discussed, so AP underscore invoices is a table which contains the invoice information, which contains the invoice information. So it is owned by your application payable AP. Let us take just this is just an example. So let us take the owner of your AP underscore invoices table will be application payable AP schema. Okay, so AP schema is the owner who AP schema will be owner for that particular table. So your apps schema is there, right? Your apps schema will have grants on that particular AP schema, and your apps schema will have one more object named AP underscore invoices. That is nothing but synonym. Synonym is nothing but the object with same name. Okay. So the synonym is owned by your app schema. The table is owned by your AP schema. Okay. So the data, the owner for the data will be AP schema anyhow, but your app schema is having the grant on that particular table. Okay. So if any synonym is lost or if any grants are lost on some tables, so then you can execute this. So to create grants and synonyms for app schema. Is it clear,
Yeah.
Prakash?
Yeah, Santosh.
If not, just let me know. Okay.
Yeah.
So maintain multilingual tables. This is entirely when this will be used entirely when we go for multiple languages when we install multiple languages in our Oracle applications. So just go for 3. AD utilities can support maximum. It is asking some value. It, it is doing. It is creating some tables. Oh my God! It has started workers. 197 jobs are remaining. So this particular maintain multilingual tables option has been completed. So it has generated something, some report kind of thing. Not generated. It have done some activity. Moreover, we will not be able to find the difference until and unless we add a new language. Okay. So that is how we use maintain multilingual table. And the next one is check dual table. So you already know the significance of the dual table. So the dual table contains only one row and one column, like that is nothing but d by x. So if and apart from d by x, if you see any other option, so it means like your Oracle application is not working fine. So basically, we will be going for check dual table option after performing a cloning. Okay. So after performing cloning, we will be going for that option. So basically, we can also perform the same option from the backend, like select start from dual, like that. Okay. So the same thing will come. So here it will just check and validate, getting random privilege on sys.dual. This is nothing but the check dual table option. Okay. Basically, like if any error is there on that particular dual table, it will throw an error. So you can also check the option from the backend, like select start from dual. Next, we have finished the 4 options under AD admin main menu. Okay. So generate application files menu, generate application, maintain application files menu, compile reload application database entities menu, maintain application database entities menu, and the last one is change maintenance mode. I'll tell you change maintenance mode when we go for patch. So this is the end of AD patch session or AD admin session. Auto config I'll explain you tomorrow. So that thing entirely requires one day. So today I'll tell you one more thing. FNDC pass. Okay. Okay. So FNDC pass is a utility. Okay. FNDC pass is a utility using which you will change the passwords of users in Oracle application. Okay. So if you consider uh, users in Oracle application, basically there will be three kinds of users. So one will be the super users called as apps or else apples. The second will be front-end users. Front-end users are users nothing but they are end users. They are going to access your Oracle application. Okay, so they are the ones who sit on top of the business. Okay, so and the third one is backend schema, like the product schema, like GL schema, AP schema. That three. Okay, so a schema is also nothing but a user, right? Schema is nothing but collection of user objects. I mean, okay. So with the help of FND pass, you can change the passwords of all these kinds of users. Okay. So to use FND pass, like there are three examples provided, three modes provided. I mean, okay. So the syntax will be same until and except one thing. This is where it gets changed. This is called as mode. Okay. So you have for FNDC pass there are three types of modes. One is system mode, second one is Oracle mode, and the third one is user mode. Okay. System mode is the mode which you have to use when you want to change the password for your apps scheme. Okay. Oracle mode is the mode which you have to choose when you want to change the password for backend schemas. Next, user mode is the mode which you, whenever if you want to change, you have to use whenever you want to change the password for front-end user. Okay, so I just want to change. Now I'll ask you one question. I just want to change the password of app schema. So what mode I have to use?
First one, system,
Zero.
system.
Yes, system mode. No, I just want to change password for AP schema. What mode I have to use?
AP schema. Okay, so you need to go for Oracle
Yes,
GL.
Oracle. I just want to change for sysadmin or operation. That is from front end. I have to use
Front end,
user
then
mode.
user.
So yes, this is how we have to use the modes in Oracle applications for FNDC pass. Now I am just taking example of FNDC pass. So I will change the password of by default for GL the password will be GL plus GL by GL. I could connect, right? I am changing the password of GL scheme. FNDC pass as system by manager Oracle GL. I am giving password as welcome. Now check invalid username. Username is GL, password is welcome. I have connected, right? Immediately changing the password. Reset the password to default because it may cause some issues. Won't cause, but we don't want to take any chance. Okay.
So
And then
Santosh, if I change the password, if I want to change the password of GL,
okay.
and say that welcome is what we want to change, and where are the where all we need to upgrade the configuration files, or do we have anything else that we need to update where we show okay boss GL password is welcome now.
No, it's not required to update anywhere.
Uh,
We just
so
have to
if
store the password. We just need to record it. That's it. To forget, for that purpose, but you don't need to update any configuration file kind of thing. Okay.
uh, okay.
Now I'm going to change for apps. Okay, so what is the user, see, like this is the username, so this is the mode, this is the username, and this is the password what you're going to supply. Did you understood this or not? So FND CPass, apps by apps, zero space by system by manager. This is system username password, this is the username, sorry, this is the mode, this is the username, and this is the password. So here there is one thing what you have to understand, like what you have to keep in mind is you cannot directly change the password for apps schema. Okay, so if you change the password for Apple's schema, it will get reflected on the app schema. Okay, so here what is the user I'm going to change? Apple's, right? So for Apple's I'm going to change password as welcome. Now I'll connect using apps by apps as apps is my previous password. What it is showing? It is not able to connect. Apps by welcome. I can connect. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you is, if you change the password for Apple's schema, it is going to reflect on app schema, because so whenever you are changing any password using FNDC pass, you have to submit the password of apps. Okay. So while submitting password of apps, you cannot be able to change the password of apps. That is the reason why. So you have to give the password. You have to change the password for Apple's if you want to change password for app schema. Okay. So this 0 and y is nothing but, so FNDC pass is the right foundation change password. So whenever you are changing any password during FNDC pass, it means that it is a concurrent. It means it is a concurrent request for the. It is nothing but you are submitting a concurrent request. So for the concurrent request, what you submitted from the backend, the request ID will be 0, and y is a flag. Okay, are you getting the point or not? So if you are changing password using FNDC pass, it means that you are submitting a concurrent request from the backend. So if you are submitting a concurrent request from the backend, it needs to it should have a request ID, right? So the request ID will be 0 if you submit any concurrent request from the backend. Okay. So system by manager, because like it will update the same passwords in some database table in some metadata. So that is the reason why you have to give system by manager system password, and this is the mode, this is the username, and this is the password. Is it clear?
Santosh.
Yes.
Yeah, Santosh. If that is the mean, apps and Apple's password should be the same, right?
Yes. Apps and Apple's password should be same and will be same. If you change apps and Apple's password, your application will not work properly.
Okay.
Okay.
So everything is same in the command. Only thing is, the mode, like
Yes, the mode we
system,
have to change,
Oracle, and
and the
user.
username we have to change.
The system is, completely, the Apple application related, and Oracle is completely related to database, and user is related to the front end application.
Yes, exactly.
Correct, Santosh?
Yes. Now check. I have reset the password for app schema. Yes. I'm able to reset it successfully. Okay. So is it clear or not?
Yeah.
I'll try to finish some small concepts. So this is how you change the password for FNDC pass. There are a lot more topics what we have to discuss. Now I'm explaining you about profiles in Oracle applications. So profiles are profile options. So what is a database profile? What is a database profile, Emma?
A profile is something which minimum privileges. So what kind of action you can do in the database will be grouped into the profile, and profile will be assigned to the users.
Okay. So profiles are nothing like, with the help of profiles we will set some limits to the users. Okay. We will set some limits to the users. Okay. Limit is nothing but a restriction kind of thing. Okay. So if he is trying to
Yeah.
give a wrong password for 4 times, then his account has to be locked, right? So that is nothing but his limit. Okay. So with the help of the profile options, we will set some limits in the Oracle database. So like in the same way, like that profiles are nowhere related to these profiles in Oracle application. So the profile options in Oracle applications are the changeable options which affect the way how Oracle applications run. Okay. So let us take, like, if you open Gmail, what happens? So you will be getting some interface, right? So for everyone, the same interface will be coming. So if you want to customize your interface, it means if you want to add a picture in the background, if you want to add a scenario in the background, so what happens, you can change it. Okay, it means what you are doing, you are changing the way how your Gmail run. Here also you can change. So how your Gmail look like, here also you can change with the help of profile options. So with the help of profile options, you can change the way how your Oracle applications run. Okay, so these profile options will act like global variable in Oracle applications. So these are very important and key components in Oracle applications. Okay, so when I open my Oracle application, I will be getting one interface in blue color. If I want to change it to black color, I can change it. If I want to change it to green color background interface, so I can change it. So with the help of profile options, I can change it. Okay. So they will provide the flexibility to access Oracle applications. So there are basically two types of profile options: system profile and personal profile. Are you able to see that? The font is little bit. Yeah, different levels of profile options, not levels, types. Different types of profile options: system profile and personal profile. System. Yeah, system profile and personal profile. So system profile, with the help of system profile, you can change any user's profile value. Okay, you can change any user's profile value. With the help of personal profile, you can change only that particular user's profile value. The self profile value can be changed with the help of personal profile, and with the help of system, any users can be changed. Any user's profile value can be changed. So system profile will be generally used by DBS, and personal profile will be used by self. It means like by end users. System has not been taken off maintenance mode completely. Please ask your system administrator. So whenever if you face like if you forget to keep your application, if you forget to disable the maintenance mode for your application, you will be getting the error message like this. The system has not been taken off from maintenance mode completely. Please contact your system administrator. So you have to disable your maintenance mode at this point of time. I will show you how to disable maintenance mode. Let's check whether all the things are completed, shut down correctly. There are some concurrent uh, executables still running. Let us wait for them to complete. The applications got shut down, and I'm going to show you how to disable maintenance mode. So AD admin, what is the option over here? Fifth option, change maintenance mode. So currently the maintenance mode is enabled. So what you have to do? You have to disable maintenance mode. So just select the option second. It is executing the script. Okay, you can manually execute the script in the back end also with the help of app schema. So disable it. Okay, so execute the script and give disable so that your maintenance mode will be disabled. So execute the script and with enable option. So the maintenance mode will be enabled. Okay, so currently the maintenance mode is disabled. Okay. Currently the maintenance mode is disabled, right? So I will show you something, like even though if I start applications, I'm starting applications, so sometimes your applications will not come up. It means your applications will come, but you will not be able to, still you will not be able to access the applications, still you will get same error, some other error. Okay, I'll show you how to troubleshoot it. So it will take a couple of minutes to start the application. Just give me 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes time. So the applications have started, right? So I'll take you to the thing and I'll give the URL. So how to get the URL? Rep-i test underscore login from dollar context underscore file. Paste. That's great. Like we have got our application. So if this is not the if still you are unable to get the application, so there is one method I'll show you. Sysadmin password is sysadmin. Okay. So under the system administrator responsibility, these are all called as responsibility. Under system administrator responsibility, you will be seeing two types of profiles. One is system profile and one is personal profile. Personal profile is meant to change the password for the self user, and system profile is used to change the password for entire users in applications. There are different levels in different levels for profile options in Oracle applications. So you have to understand very clearly about this. These are form based, like again forms are not open. So when I have selected the profile options, like there are couple of well couple of levels in couple of levels for profiles in Oracle application. So the levels would be site level, application level, responsibility level, server level, organization level, and user level. Okay, so here you have to type the name of the profile. So and here you have to type, if you want to change any value at application level, you have to select application and you have to type the application name. If you want to change the value at responsibility level, you have to change at responsibility level, select here and you have to select the responsibility level. before going that, I will explain what are these levels. Okay. So in Oracle applications, profile values can be set at different levels. So there would be a site level, application level, responsibility level, and user levels. So Oracle Application Object Library treats user profile levels as a hierarchy, where user is the highest level and of the hierarchy, followed by responsibility, application at the lowest level, site. Higher level profile option values override lower level profile option. So I'll tell you one thing, just understand clearly. Okay. So site level is nothing but setting some profile option value. So by default, there will be profile options, and for these profile options, there will be some profile option values. Okay. Are you getting the point on it? So by default, there will be profile options. For each and every profile option, there will be one associated value. Okay. The value can change, but the option name will not change. Okay. So site level profile options. Okay. Let us take an example of let us take an example of some profile value. Java color scheme. So what is the Java color scheme set at site level? So there is nothing value set at the site level. So if you want to change that, so the default color is this blue what we are getting, the blue color what we are getting. Okay. So see, like initially the profile option, this concept will be little bit confusing, but I will clear all the doubts at the end of the topic. You don't need to worry. So just listen what I'm telling. So the Java color scheme. So by default, the Java color scheme, like what we are getting in this kind of interface, we're getting the blue color, right? So if you want to change the blue color, you want to change it to purple, what you have to do? You have to change the particular value at site level and then save it. I have saved, right? So after restarting your Oracle applications, the values will get reflected. Okay, so that is not for all the cases. This is particularly for this option. So this is the profile option name. This is the level where you are, whether it is site level or application level, responsibility level or user level. And this is the value which I set at the site level. Okay. So for this particular profile option at this site level, I have set a value called as purple. Okay. So it means for all the users, site is nothing but it is a global. It is nothing but the global thing. So if you set some value at site level, that particular value will be for entire users in the Oracle application. Okay. So for the entire Oracle applications, this is the only one value. Okay. So if you want to change the value at particular user level, you can change. So for sysadmin, if you want to change the profile option for this, you can change. Okay, I'll show you. This is set at site level, right? Now select user here. Select user here, and then select what is the user you are trying to sysadmin. Fine. So is there any value which is set at user level? There is no value, right? I will set some value. I will set khaki color. Save. I have saved. Now tell me, for that particular user sysadmin, we have set for entire Oracle applications, we have set an option called as purple. Only for that particular user, we have set an option called as khaki. So now tell me, for that particular user sysadmin, what is the option which is going to get reflected? If it is purple or if it will be khaki?
Khaki.
This is purple. Why? Because site level is super, right?
Yes, that is what people
So
will
it can
be
be
thinking.
overwritten.
Yes.
Purple
So
will override
always,
khaki.
yes, I have already discussed. Always the user level is having the highest precedence over the other levels. Okay. So the highest precedence is user level, and the next is responsibility, and the next is application, and the lowest precedence, lowest is site. Okay. Always. So if you set something at the user level, it will get reflected to that particular user. Okay. I will take an example. Okay. So there is a printer. There is a printer defined in your Oracle application. Okay. So the site level option for that printer is Delhi. It means whoever takes print in Oracle applications will get printed in a Delhi printer. Okay. So I am sitting in Hyderabad. I am sitting in Hyderabad. So I don't want my prints to get printed in the for the Delhi printer. So I want my prints to get printed in the Hyderabad printer. So what do I have to do? So for the site level option for the printer is Delhi, right? So for the user level, I will change the value to Hyderabad. At that point of time, what happens? My prints will get printed at the Hyderabad printer. So that is how the precedence changes. Okay. So always the user level is having highest precedence over responsibility level. The responsibility is having highest precedence over application level. The application is having highest precedence over site level. Okay. So that is what the main concept. So if you come here, yeah, site level. If we set, see clearly, just read it. If we set any profile value at site level, it is applicable for all users, for all responsibilities and applications at the installation site. Means wherever we install. So site is the lowest user profile level. It means site is having the lowest level. Okay. Always higher level profile option values override lower level profile option values. So here the user is having the value something, right? It is overriding the site level value. Okay, so that is what I mean. So I mean, like, user level is having highest precedence, means preference over the site level. Next, application level. If we set any profile value at application level, then profile values are applicable only for that particular application. Okay, so if you want to change any there is one application, so and so application, so like there is one uh, ABC application. Let us take an example of ABC application. So for that ABC application, the prints wants to get delivered at Chennai. Then you can define the application profile value, application level profile value to the Chennai. So that what happens, all the prints will get printed in the Chennai only for that particular application users. If we set any profile value at application level, then profile values are applicable only for that application. Application level profile values affect the way a particular application runs. Application is a user profile level immediately above site. Okay. So compared to site and application level is having highest precedence over site. So compared to application and responsibility is having higher. And next, compared to responsibility and user is having highest precedence. Okay. So see here, if we set any profile value at responsibility level, then profile values are applicable only for that particular responsibility. For example, if we set profile option for system administrator responsibility, it is effective for system administrator responsibility only. For all others, the value would be site level. That is what I mean. So at last, if we change any value at the user level, the values will be applicable only for that particular user. Okay. So here you can see the example. Not This is not the example. Important. Basically, a system administrator sets site level option values after installing Oracle Application Object Library based applications at site. So these site level option values then work as the default until the system administrator or end user sets them at the higher level. Okay. So I'm telling you one thing. So if you are this is what. Okay, so I'm just telling you basically. I said a system administrator sets a site level option values after installing Oracle application object element. It means after installing Oracle applications. So just give me 1 second, guys. 1 minute. That's it, guys. Like if so, when we install Oracle applications, like there will be one default option what we will be setting for the site level. So based on the requirement, either the user will change it to the user level or the system administrator will change it at the user level what he requires.
Santosh, your application level in the sense depend upon the product, GL, no AP like that. Profiles will be set on.
Yes, yes, it is same. That is the case. So guys, like